A major Five Nights at Freddy leak is going to change what you thought you knew about the FNAF movie. We just got 1 trillion new trailers for the FNAF movie. The first screenings for the Five Nights movie have happened, and the verdict is, Josh Hutcherson's first Five Nights interview has hit the internet. The famous red eyes are gone and fans are not happy. And the director of the movie is already talking about FNAF Movie 2. All of this and more on the internet's #1 FNAF movie news show. This is SLUURP's Behind the Scenes. Hey SLUURP heads, it's Connor here and I hope you're ready because we've got another massive episode of Behind the Scenes. In fact, it might be one of our biggest episodes we've ever had. Now a quick heads up, we always like to give a light spoiler warning for this show, and this week we've got to particularly highlight that fact. You still with me? Good. Let's delve into another electrifying episode of Behind the Scenes. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, just as I was about to start recording this week's episode of Behind the Scenes, another breaking news story dropped. I couldn't help but start with this story because honestly it's probably the biggest information dump we've got about this movie so far. So what's the deal? Well, a production information document for Blumhouse's upcoming Five Nights at Freddy's movie has been released by Universal. I want to express again some caution. While we don't get major spoilers in terms of twists and reveals, we do find out quite a lot about the main cast of characters. This document is absolutely massive, so we've done our best to summarise this in a way that highlights all the major new information that we haven't previously covered. Okay, so I want to get to the real meat and potatoes of this document, and that's really the section subtitled The Characters. Let's start with our leading lad, Josh Hutcherson. Hutcherson plays Mike, a former security guard juggling the responsibility of being the guardian to his younger sister Abby. When he takes an overnight watchman job at the haunted Freddy Fazbear's pizzeria, his life takes a chilling turn. So far so good, right? Seems like everything we've seen portrayed in the trailers. But here's where it gets juicy. When Mike was 12, his younger brother Garrett was taken by an unknown man from a park while Mike and his parents were only yards away. Mike has been haunted by the event and searching for his brother and his brother's kidnapper ever since, even in his dreams. Man, oh man, this is great stuff. It confirms a lot of the theories we had, but it also sets up exactly how the story will play out in this movie adaptation. I mean, the kidnapper is 100% William Afton, right? But then I still have questions, because what does Afton do with the kids? How will it all link back to Freddy's and the pizzeria? Also, is there a chance that Mike's younger brother is still alive in some form, somewhere in Freddy's? Oh my god. So much to think about. It's time to switch gears and look at Vanessa, who will be played by Elizabeth Lale. She's a local police officer acquainted with the mysteries surrounding Freddy Fazbear's. Very interesting. Why do you know so much, Vanessa? Her initial skepticism towards Mike, the new hire with an unfortunate tendency to doze off, gradually transforms into empathy and alliance. Vanessa emerges as a beacon of support for Mike as he delves deeper into the pizzeria's secrets. I think most of us in the FNAF community think something sus is going on with Vanessa, right? So it's interesting here that this document seemingly portrays that she doesn't have a ulterior motive. I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to hide her true intentions, but it's definitely something to think about. Okay, now let's look at Piper Rubio. 10-year-old Abby, portrayed by the gifted Rubio, stands central to Mike's life, not just as his sister, but as a ward under his shaky guardianship. The film cleverly intertwines Abby's imaginative artwork with eerie occurrences at Freddy's, leading the siblings on a journey to uncover the truth behind the animatronics. Nothing particularly new here, but I'm definitely interested to see Abby's art in the movie. Now let's look at Jane and Maxine, played by Mary Stuart Masterson and Kat Connor Sterling, respectively. Jane is the siblings' overbearing aunt, frequently clashing with Mike over his guardianship of Abby, hinting at hidden intentions. What is this Karen up to? Remember when we first heard about this character? It was through the reveal that her name was Jane Afton. This is a character we haven't seen anything from in the marketing materials, so I'm super interested to see more from her. Of course, we've got to end with none other than William Afton. Steve Raglan, played by the amazing Matthew Lillard. Lillard's portrayal of Steve, a career counsellor, introduced Mike to the daunting job at Freddy's. The character's malevolent undertones make Steve's role pivotal, steering Mike into the eerie pizzeria. Obviously they're trying to keep some kind of secrecy around who and what Raglan really is, and I'm kinda here for it. It'll be fun to see how the general public and non-FNAF fans react to Raglan's true intentions. Ooh, I told you that was pretty dense. I did my best to summarize the major plot takeaways, but if you wanted to read this whole thing in detail, there's going to be a link for that down in the description. We're going to circle back to this document later in the episode, but before we do, why don't we check out some more behind the scenes news. Alright, gather round ladies and gentlemen, we can't believe we're actually gonna say this, but as of today, tickets for the Five Nights at Freddy's movie are now, unbelievably, officially on sale. The announcement came from Regal. The post said, "Can you survive? Get tickets to Five Nights at Freddy's on October 1st, which is the same tagline slapped onto the poster. I have to pinch myself making sure I'm not dreaming. In fact, do me a favour, if you see me in the streets, give me a pinch too. It won't be the last time I say this in this behind the scenes episode, but drumroll please. I honestly can't believe this is happening." So there you go, SLUURP heads. Tickets are now on sale. We'll be sure to update you on how sales are going as we lead up to the release of the movie, but until then, I gotta find out. Are you planning to watch the movie in theaters or curled up on your couch, streaming it on Peacock? Leave a comment below and let us know. Buckle up, because the floodgates have opened. Remember when we touched on those 3 new TV spots in last week's episode? Well, once that episode hit the airwaves, Universal went all out. Seriously, every time I refreshed Twitter, X, whatever, another TV spot had made its way onto the internet. There were literally new trailers popping out of Universal's Wazoo. If you're watching this BTS episode, you're likely a mega fan of FNAF, which means you've probably caught some of these TV spots in the wild web. I won't deep dive into each one, because if I did, it would probably be like a 60-minute episode. If you want to spend some time looking over the TV spots yourself, we're going to link them all in the description down below. For the most part, these TV spots tread familiar ground, echoing the story beats from the official and teaser trailers. They're playing it close to the chest with plot details, which is okay with me. It means we get to unravel the mystery on the big screen. So while the plot remains cloaked in shadows, we were treated to a smorgasbord of fresh new shots and scenes. And man oh man, can we talk about Spring Bonnie? The transition to the big screen, I mean, it's just perfect. And then I also have to highlight this shot, because honestly, it's so fucking goofy, and I love it. I feel this is destined to become FNAF meme gold. With the countdown to the movie premiere in full swing, I bet my lucky socks we haven't seen the last of the TV and web spots. Stay tuned, because when we hear more, you'll be the first to know. Grab some popcorn, because there's been a late-minute plot twist. Anyone who's been following the production of the Five Nights movie, or even if you've browsed the comments of the first teaser trailer, you'd know that the reveal of the animatronics having red eyes was pretty controversial. After the storm of online backlash from the first 2 teasers, those glaring red eyes were barely used in any of the marketing material since. Most of the promos we saw after, think of a more muted yellowish glow. So, of course, the rumour mill went into overdrive, suggesting that maybe the red eyes have got the boot, kinda like Sonic's makeover after fan outcry. Eye-gate doesn't stop there though, because this week a new poster for the Five Nights at Freddy's movie dropped, first spotted on Rotten Tomatoes, and brace yourself, the infamous red eyes have now been replaced. And you want to know the ironic part of all of this? A lot of fans were pissed about this change, arguing that the red eyes were actually the better choice. Oh, the FNAF community are not real people, I swear. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I'm so over all of this eye discourse. Could they impact the film? Sure. If they're not done right, they could come off as silly and not scary. But we're on the cusp of the movie's release, so I'm just going to sit tight, reserve my judgment, and take it all in once the theatre lights dim. I feel like it was just yesterday we kicked off this behind the scenes series, and now, after a rollercoaster 7 months, it's actually happened. People, real, living, breathing people, have watched the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, and I hate them. It should have been me, goddammit! Is my jealousy showing? You heard it right. Critics had their golden ticket moment this week, attending the first ever press screenings for FNAF. Eager to know what they thought? Well, pump the brakes, because there's an embargo on reactions and reviews. But trust me, Once the embargo lifts, you'll be the first to hear their opinion. Many in the FNAF community speculated that we might be looking at a Mario movie situation. Lukewarm critic reviews where it's fans and the general public singing the movie's praises. But here's a twist. Universal screening the movie for critics with a whole month still on the clock might be a beacon of hope. I mean, if you're confident about your product, why not show it off early, right? Alternatively, again, if Universal decides to play it close to the vest and keep the review embargo locked until the last few days before the release, well, that might be a little hint of their expectations. Every day without a lifted embargo, that might mean the Rotten Tomatoes score could be taking a hit. This is certainly juicy, and we'll have to see which way it goes. We'll be following the story and updating you as we get closer to the release of Five Nights at Freddy's. Let's finally circle back to that document as I said we would. I couldn't help but include this as we finally got our first interview in sorts with the main star of the movie, Josh Hutcherson. I think some of us were concerned we wouldn't hear from Hutcherson given the fact that the studios have continually refused to give actors and writers a fair deal, meaning the strikes have been ongoing. It looks like these strikers might finally be getting a win we've all wanted, but this document is careful to clarify that all actor and writer interviews were conducted prior to the SAG and WGA labour strikes. Okay, enough build-up. Let's get into what Hutcherson had to say in this interview. First up, it's revealed that before joining the film, Hutcherson wasn't familiar with the game, but he quickly delved into the universe. He said,
"The game is very creepy, very intense, and then I saw the fandom and the lore behind it, and it's just out of this world."
You can say that again, Josh. I kinda like the idea of him sitting at home watching MatPat videos in preparation for him joining the franchise. Discussing the approach of the film, Hutcherson emphasises the character-driven narrative amid the supernatural elements.
Mike's a guy with the weight of the world on his shoulders. He's acting as this father figure, while at the same time dealing with his own deeply personal trauma.
I feel that Hutcherson has got such a great grasp on the character. Honestly, I think he's going to be the perfect Mike. Regarding the animatronics used in the movie, Hutcherson is full of admiration.
Watching them come to life was incredible. They have this texture and quality that only Henson can do. As an actor, you actually get something physical and real to interact with. My character is supposed to be haunted by these things. And now I have a creature in front of me that, in the right light, is terrifying.
Oh man, I love this so much. Just like we've been banging on about for weeks, this movie is going to benefit so much from having practical animatronics. It's really going to elevate the movie in a way that full CGI renders wouldn't. But as expressed from Hutcherson, this must have been such a great scenario for the actors in the movie, likely helping their overall performance. It's great to finally hear from Aunt Mike. If the studios finally decide to stop being massive tossers and agree to a fair deal that the SAG members deserve, then maybe we'll hear more from Josh and the rest of the crew before the movie's release later this month. SLUURP heads, just when we thought Emma Tammy was done spilling the tea, she's back at it again. If you missed our last episode of Behind the Scenes, you may have missed our deep dive into Tammy's tell-all interview with Total Film magazine. Seriously, this had a lot of reveals, but don't sweat it, we've got a link to that episode and the highlights down below. But now Tammy's at it again, lighting the rumour fuse with a feature in October's issue of Rumours magazine. Apart from the tantalising tease of a FNAF movie 2, the mag boasts a 9 years of Five Nights retrospective, and even a juicy piece centred around the buzzing Five Nights fandom. For us BTS aficionados, there's a full-blown segment on the FNAF movie. For starters, the interview sets the scene for FNAF newbies, a quick origin story of the Five Nights phenomenon and the movie's journey from concept to big screen. Here's where it gets intriguing. Tabby, known for her horror chops, infuses the film with her dark spin on FNAF's eerie charm. But the article says don't expect a full-blown horror fest. The mag clarifies that Tammy's captured the game's playful yet creepy tone, ensuring the film doesn't just drown in doom and gloom. Elsewhere, the article touches on the difficulties of keeping the giant 6-foot animatronic monsters away from the prying eyes of fans and the press. I almost feel like our behind-the-scenes series is somewhat under attack here. Here is what Tammy had to say about it.
We really were hoping that these elements in the movie that we knew the fan base would be so excited about would remain a secret until the film came out or until we revealed them in a preview. They're huge. It was challenging to keep everything under wraps.
Now the icing on the cake, sequel talks. This is big, especially since the last hint of a movie sequel was when Matthew Lillard hinting he signed on for a free picture deal. Here's what Tammy had to say.
I should be so lucky to be able to be involved in any sequel film. That would be incredible. I love it.
Okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Blumhouse will likely want to see some dollar bills before greenlighting anything. It all hinges on the box office numbers and those Peacock viewing stats. But yes, it is heartwarming to see Tammy's passion for the project. Often directors crave fresh new adventures after immersing in one project for so long. So while Tammy's playing coy, one thing's clear, she really loves the FNAF universe. Alright SLUURP heads, it's time to wrap up another massive week on Behind the Scenes. We finally heard from Josh Hutcherson, I got jealous about the first screenings, and we also found out a lot of new information about the plot. You already know what comes next. Are you all ready for our movie countdown? Drumroll please. Yes, your eyes don't deceive you. We are 25 days away from the horror event of the year. In 25 days, we're going to find out if we are all truly ready for Freddy. If you don't want to miss out on a single update from the Five Nights movie, remember to smash that subscribe button. As always, a massive shout out to you, the SLUURP community. This was Connor from SLUURP, and I'll see you in the next one.
If you rockin' with it, put your hands up. Yeah, this the anthem. If you get up and get it, put your hands up. Yeah.